Okay, welcome back to the session. When we last left off, you had arrived into town and you had deposited a troll with the people that were supposed to receive the troll because they'd been caught off on a wagon, and you had left the gate. I assume you were headed toward the sword chest plate in your rooms. Am I correct?
I believe we stopped by the guard barracks and we're going to exchange troll parts that we had if we didn't already do that.
We already did that.
Yep, that's what I was thinking too. Okay.
So does that mean that the math that I guess Dash did for us, was that all good, or was there any tweaks to that?
The math that he did was sound from his point of view, yes.
Okay.
We still have to handle you actually, going to Mac and paying Mac.
Yeah, no worries.
And we also have to sell all this stuff, so technically before we see Mac, we should probably sell stuff and go straight to Mac.
So is this the same night, or is it the next morning?
Well, that's what I was trying to determine. So right now, if you're going to sell anything off, you probably have to wait until the next morning the shop's open, because it was late when you got into town, well past business hours.
Right, that's what I thought as well.
Yeah, and I think Mac would be asleep anyway, so I don't know about you guys. I figure we'd just rack out for the night.
I want to say we did end this last session at the sword chest plate.
Okay. So you returned to the sword chest plate, and then from there, which went back to your rooms that you've been gifted for the week there, or however long it was. And then you went out, and as far as I'm concerned, you can just player's handbook value on the items for as far as value, so we have to role play all that. After handling all that, you returned to the sword chest plate to meet up with Mac, correct?
Yes.
That's logical.
Okay. So upon returning to meet up with Mac, you are escorted upstairs to his office, which is also in the sword chest plate, which is actually just a couple doors down from your room, actually. And that's where I've placed your tokens for the starting of the session. Everybody should be there. When you arrive in the room, Mac is sitting at his desk, busily going through a set of numbers with a dwarvish gentleman. Whenever they see you walk in, the dwarf excuses himself and he exits out the door here. I guess where I can ping with something that you guys can see.
I'm getting like only I want to say quickly, 18 square visible.
Yeah. Yep. You're in a small room. He disappears out a door right here into another room, leaving you in Mac's office. Mac's office, you've been here before. This is actually where you received your metal rings, the bronze, I believe they're copper rings that you're wearing now. Mac is seated behind his desk, which is a big, huge desk, halfling size, of course, because Mac himself is a halfling. And Mac looks up at you, And he goes, you've returned. What do you have for me?
Didn't your runner give you the troll?
Well, I didn't want the troll, and the client notified me just an hour ago that they had received the troll. So is there anything else that you need to give to me?
Just your cut of what we found, which comes to 35 gold, I believe 35 gold, 2 silver, and 5 copper.
You see him look down at a sheet of paper in front of him, look back up at you and goes, very well, very well. And he holds his hand out for the bag of the coins or however you're going to give it to him.
Dash hands a bag filled with his cut.
He sweeps the coins away into that same drawer where you see him pull other things, and he doesn't shut the drawer immediately. He starts tossing bags onto the table. There's now 6 little bags laying there, one for each of you, because that's your cut. And he reaches down like he's going to start to toss them to you. Are you going to take them off the desk or let him toss them to you?
I'll let him toss it to me.
Okay. Mike just starts tossing bags up in the air toward each one of you, and you guys either snag them out of the air or they fall and clatter to the ground, however you want to do it individually, how you see your character doing it. The bags each contain 200 gold pieces. Bertha drops her bag. Corum snags it off the ground.
Corum's like, snatch, like 6 bags just right in the air.
So
All
was
at
this
once.
included in the divvy out that Dash did, or is this in addition to that?
No, this would be an
This
addition.
is an addition.
Sweet.
This is an addition. This is your actual. This is the actual commission you received for the job that you took.
We'll say that's when Bertra misses her bag, Corum catches it and hands it to Bertra.
Okay.
What did you say again? Gold amount?
200.
Got it.
200 gold orbs. Well, now I don't really have any jobs for you right now, but I suspect you probably need some training before you come back for more work. I do have a job in mind, but I'm still working out the details with the contractee, if you understand my meaning.
Grunge
Sounds
kinda
good to
close.
me.
And are you going to continue to use the room?
Is it of a out of character? Is it out of a poor status, or what kind of? is
Okay,
it
yeah, that's fine. I clearly expected that question. No. In short, no. That room would be considered a comfortable living status. And so let's talk, and we'll just kind of cut back out of character for a minute as you make these decisions. All of you need 2 levels worth of training, which is going to cost you 40 gold to receive the training, either in donations to your, or however, it being 40 gold to get your training. If you stay in the room, it'll be 94 gold total for the 27 days that you'll be there. That handles your training and the room.
Corum's just gonna pay that. I'll deduct it from my sheet.
Okay.
You said 97 or 92?
94,
94.
and that'd be each.
I was way off.
97 with tip.
97 tip. There you go.
So if you look in the group chat, that's what you had posted before.
Yep.
Yep.
I'm just reading the chart that I have here.
I went for comfortable, and I already took the 40 gold off, so I've already taken off all the gold.
That's fine. I trust you to deduct your own money how you need to. I'm not going to check you that close.
Why is it that Marcus has 3,000 gold then?
Well, it's Marcus. Okay, so Grun, if you go with the cheaper establishments, means you would, and there's actually rooms in this area in the sword chest plate that would qualify. They have a common room, and that would be 45 gold and 4 silver for your for everything.
Yeah, I'm gonna be doing something more modest.
Okay, a modest living. Again, there's either here at this inn or other inns you can find that would be 67 total.
Okay, great.
Dash will also go with modest.
Okay, 67 for them. Okay, with that, probably what'll end up happening for the two of you. Well, comfortable for quorum. Comfortable for quorum is the 94. Yeah. Of course, you guys have those numbers. So you all go about your way to finding your places and all that. And like I said, Mike's not putting you off. He just doesn't have any contracts right now that fit your all skill set. Now,
Hey, Mac, what about rings? Anything new and fancy happening with our rings?
No, not right now, says Mike. Your rings will take care of what we need. However, you should briefly, within the week, start hearing your tales told in the taverns and the inns throughout the city.
I'd hope so. I'm trying to sing them.
Well, there'd be your efforts, but there'd also be the ones that are part of the service as well. As you know, my scribes watch and record everything that you do on your journeys, and those are then translated into songs and tales that are told throughout the city, helping advertise you and my service.
Excellent. I will make sure to stop by and have a listen.
Well, we'll certainly be performing those here, but you also will hear them in other parts of the city as well. We have other bards, like yourself, that visit other taverns and work for other taverns. And sing on the street corners and, well, wherever they can find their performances. And it's what the advertising helps keep people coming in. It's been rather effective, actually. I think I might call it marketing.
Would you have any side jobs for this marketing that maybe I could trade you for?
Well, I don't, because I don't, and it's a part of my business, you understand, but I subcontract the name of the person to speak with, that you can talk with them.
Excellent.
You'll find that, and slipping back into the DM for a second, Mac has this deal set up, and like I said, and like you've experienced already, the getting discounts with your rings and things like that. He's done the same thing with bard groups and other groups. He cuts them in for a share of the profits. He gets a share of the profits. Everybody gains from it, and he's using this to market his service throughout the city. Of course, it also benefits you all because it spreads the word about you all and what you're doing.
I like it.
So does Max share like the places where we get the discounts?
He doesn't outright share them, but when if Grun asks him about him, he'll tell you that if you pay attention to the signage outside of the shops, and he shows you he quickly draws a symbol, and he flips it around on his desk on a piece of paper and says, if you look for that symbol in their signage, that will tell you that shop is friendly to him.
Does it look familiar at all to me, like any of the shops we went through those nights?
Yeah, several of the shops you all have been in, you noticed, and basically it looks like a ring with a stylized M in it.
M as in Mary?
Yeah, as in Mary, or as in Mac.
Okay.
But you notice that symbol has been either on the signage or like you would see it like inside in the shop on the wall or things like that. It's been there. You may not have realized what it was. You thought it was a design or whatever, but it's been a part of several of the shops you've been in.
Including the one that pissed me off?
Yeah.
Okay. Brent's going to keep that little bit of information to himself.
That's fine. But yeah, he said that a lot of them said, no, not all of them advertise that way, and show that they're friendly to him, but many of them do. So it also helps, like his bards and the people that work with him, helps them to know where to spread the word around at and things like that.
Grun will speak up saying that he's basically not good with numbers, but how much of a discount should we expect?
Well, it varies from shopkeeper to shopkeeper, but usually about 10% is what they tend to give you. Sometimes more, sometimes less, depending on the item and how they have to get it in here and their own cost and things like that. But usually it's around 10%. It's not a great discount. Now, some of them will do more, particularly if they've directly benefited from the service. but they don't advertise or tell who they are.
Gren looks kind of confused at that statement.
He kind of sees your confusion and goes, well, they keep it to themselves if they're giving more discount because it's not good for their business, because usually if they are, it's cutting into their profit margins.
Very well.
So one great example, of course, is, and you may have encountered it if you went looking for it, I don't know if you did or didn't, would be healing potions. Healing potions are extremely expensive here in Gumtar Stronghold due to the fact that a couple of the herbs apparently don't grow in the region and they have to ship them in. So they don't give a less of a discount for those. But usually those same merchants will make up for giving you a little steeper discount on other items.
All right, very well then. I may have to go pay another visit to the little ornery guy.
Okay, so I'm going to flip you guys over to back into the main tavern map here, which you're actually already there. You just don't realize it. Let me get to the right map so I can do that.
Where's the festival taking place at? Isn't that in the downtown market area?
Yes, to be in the
If we have no other business here, I'm thinking maybe we could go straight there, unless you have something else in mind.
that's fine with me. That'd be ultimately up to you guys.
Is this assuming that we completed training, or is this before, during,
Well, I'm gonna fill you guys in on what happened. It could be during the training because the festival actually. Let me explain a little bit about the calendar while I'm moving your tokens over to the other map. The festival that you're talking about, there are 4 festivals each year in the Eldarin calendar. They're week-long festivals. In most bigger cities, they're kind of like a week-long Mardi Gras, which Mardi Gras is pretty much a week-long anyway. But they're like that. It's usually a whole city-wide party for a week for the various festivals, and they typically break the seasons. Like one will be like, say, the between harvest and actual beginning of winter, there'll be a festival and things like that. And that's what one of this festival is that's coming up. It's one of the breaks in the calendar.
Okay, I got you. Like what just completed then? Harvest or wine?
I started thinking, I was like, wait, now which one is this? Because I forgot to look that up.
Or let it be the wine festival.
This is actually the end of Richfest, and it's when High Summer officially begins.
Okay, cool.
So it's the beginning of summer. Well, or High Summer, as they call it. What would be of note for this festival, and one of the ways you know that it's happening, or this particular one, the moon Deimos is full again, and during the middle of the festival, on the 4th day of Richfest, Deimos will be in the sky full, and so will Phobos. So both moons will be full.
Know the significance of that from any kind of weird ritual or whatever?
Not really rituals, though. Colloquially, all of you would know that typically those are during that night. People are encouraged to stay in the towns and in the city walls because the lycanthropes are usually more busy that night.
Avoid the sewers and the were-rats.
Exactly.
And is that a very common thing, or those type of creatures kind of rare still?
They're more rare, but that would during those nights, and admittedly, probably a lot of it's probably parents making sure their kids don't wander off during the festival. But they would say, well, the werewolves will be busier this night. It'll be more werewolves, but there is some truth to it too. That during those nights, the lycanthropes will usually have huge parties or things like that themselves. So it's a big party night. Okay, so as you venture out into the city, who wants to hear first about your 27 days of training in city life?
Did have one question.
Sure.
So during the festival, since there is no training, could we just go back and dig up that hole that we filled in
Yeah.
of goblins?
If you all want to, yeah, you could.
Anyone else interested in that?
Yeah, if you share that, then the thought of more coin is definitely going to get.
Yeah, I think Quorum is definitely interested in joining Dash to go check out this hole, but I'm thinking it's probably going to happen like after the first 7 days of this festival or whatever. Let's get some festival, some training in, and then let's go if that's okay with you. That's at least what Quorum tries to.
Yeah, I figure it won't take a whole week to dig that up anyways, but I figure somewhere in there we could go out there and dig it up.
I'm down.
Okay. So the way the festival actually kind of falls, you'll have about 3.5 weeks before the festival begins, and there'll be the week of the festival and so on, because you got some time in here. You guys got to do training, obviously. So who wants to hear their experiences first, and then we can jump to you all digging up the burnt corpses of the goblins you murdered.
So out of character, is Grun actually looking for a trainer, or is it more like what I asked you about, Jason?
You would the way I wrote Grun's up, he actually kind of runs into someone that can help him.
Okay.
It does follow what you ask about, though. So you kind of go looking for what you're talking about, but something happens that leads into a trainer that'll help him.
Okay.
Okay. Tell you what, let's do it this way. For fairness, let me pull this up. Roll for initiative. We'll do an initiative order. Okay. Oh, look at this. Corman Dash.
Oh crap! Mine rolled to myself. I rolled a 4.
Quorum and Dash pretty much raved the initiative. That's just how we do it.
Yeah, really. I'll add you in there, Brian.
Unless one of us trips somehow,
Oh, no,
but
it
yeah.
rolled it, Brian.
Yeah,
I have it.
It displayed to myself. I didn't have it set to all.
Okay. Okay, let's see here. Let me sort this. Okay, I guess we'll go Corum first since he's up. Actually, no. Corum and Dash, roll me a d20 each, and we'll see which one of you gets to go first. Dash it is.
Champion.
I have a feeling Dash is going to find his trainer in that hole.
No, actually,
It's going to be a lycanthrope in the sewer.
Dash, you spend the number of days right after you guys start taking this break. You spend a couple of days at a place here in town called the Sanctum of Knowledge. And the Sanctum of Knowledge is one of the huge libraries in town. It's actually one of the largest libraries in this part of the world. And you're researching the things that you have talked to me about. You're researching the swamps and preparing for your it's the word I'm looking for, Dash.
Expedition.
Thank you. The expedition that you're wanting to mount. One evening when you return to the sword chest plate, you realize that sword chest plate is a great bar, but it's probably not the best bar for someone of your training and knowledge and skills. And you remember a bar that Grun had mentioned to you a couple of days ago called the Merchantman. So you tag along with Grun, and you find this bar has more what you're looking for. It has card games and things like that. But it's really still not quite right. But Corum, all these stories kind of tie together, guys. Corum had been going out and performing in a variety of local bars. So you tag along with him one night. And he's singing at a place called the Blind Beholder. And as you're just getting up to leave, thinking that this isn't the kind of place I'm looking for either,
Wait, Dash is singing?
No, Corum's
No.
singing. Corum's performing.
We're not killing any cats here, so
You realize the Beholder is really a dive. It's probably not going to have what you want in it. It's kind of a rough crowd. And just as you're beginning to leave, this half-elven lady steps in front of you and says, "I haven't seen you in forever." She claps you on the back, and you guys start walking out together. A group of angry eyes follow the two of you. You guys leave. And the second you round the corner, she holds out her hand and says, "Thanks, little brother. Thought they might follow me. Name's Spider."
Hello, my name's Dash.
Yeah, well, those guys, well, they didn't take quite well to losing that much money in the game.
Sounds like it.
Yeah,
You,
well, yeah. I got a
what?
few odd. Go
Sorry,
ahead.
go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say, what kind of games do you play?
Well, the kind that benefit the family. Got to take care of the kids. You know,
Makes sense. I'm kind of looking for a little bit larger of a family myself. I
excellent.
do what I can.
Well, we're playing a game of cards, private game, over at, and she names another tavern in town, and you've heard of it. Why don't you come join us tomorrow night?
I could probably find some time.
Excellent.
Sounds good.
Say, okay, that'll work. So you split from Spider, kind of you meet up with her at the tavern the next night, and they are indeed playing a game of cards, and it's the kind of game of cards that you would expect it to be, Dash. You quickly learn that there is, and let me clue the rest of people, and I don't know if they've read through everything in the stuff I put forth. What he's doing is he's not really playing cards, guys. He's paying for information. The lady, of course, obviously was a hustler. She recognized him because of something that he was wearing or some way he stood out. And I won't share that because that's something Dash will have to determine later on for you guys to let you all know. But he was recognized as being a fellow rogue. And what she's really doing is setting up a job for him, or giving him an option to take a job. You quickly learn that there is a small job nearby, nothing major. It's a quick B&E type of thing. If you're interested, the cut's 25 gold for the job. It's not great, but they need someone with your skill set.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Anytime I can explore something new.
All right. So I'm not going to have you role play the whole job, but the job goes well. And over the course of the next few weeks, you start working more and more with Spider. And the two of you pull off little minor jobs throughout the town. And she actually she realizes that, you need some additional training. So she starts working with you to improve some of your skills. She'll do kind of these kind of things, like she'd send out on an errand, like drop off money or pick up money from someone paying for protection and things like that. She sent you into a rough situation, and you reach down and realize your dagger wasn't there because she stole it off of you while you were gone. Wasn't paying attention. Things would make you have to think on your feet quickly. Nothing that would ever get you hurt. Well, not seriously hurt, but she would always push just a little bit more to get you that little bit of training, that little bit extra knowledge that you need. One of the things that you do learn while you're working with Spider during this period is there is a group within the city that she works for that goes by the simple name of the Path. It really, and it takes a little bit of work on your part, a little bit of research on your part. The full name of the group is called the Silent Path, and it's one of the many guilds within the city. And they're more or less one of the main thieves guild in the city itself. And you realize through your work and the things you've been doing with Spider, you've got a very tenuous foothold into being a part of or being involved with that group of the Path.
Okay.
Okay, so that takes care of you. So pretty much what happens with you, to summarize it the quick way, is you meet up with a fellow rogue. The rogue helps you get training by sending you on jobs that will perfect your skills to get you to where you're at for your level 3. Okay.
Awesome.
So now we'll go to Coram, the one who lost the role. Let me find you. Here you are, Coram.
Excellent. Coram's been playing the Celine Dion and Dave, FYI.
Okay. So you're setting in one of these nights. You're setting it in this early on. You know, so kind of roll back in time a little bit here. You're setting the sword chest plate, fingering your guitar, playing, and this long-legged female bard approaches your table. She sits down. She looks you up and down appraisingly, stares you straight in the face. You sing like a tone-deaf goblin keeping time to a storm rush. But you'll do. Be at the pampered polecat at sunset. You'll sing for your supper. Do well enough, and I'll say that you learn the means to be more than just a singer. With that, she walks away.
I decided to go to the pampered polecat.
So you find that it's in a rougher part of town, and you arrive there in the door. Yes, that's what I named the bar. See Brian's text. It's actually more of a brothel. As you arrive at the brothel, you're immediately greeted when you come in the door by the proprietor and says, Wold said you'd be here. Over there. And she points to the corner and says, and get set up and get started when you're ready.
Any requests?
She just kind of smiles and says, whatever. Just remember that if you do poorly, we don't feed you. So keep the guests happy. So you set up and you start singing, and you spend a little bit of time, and you do make the crowd happy. And toward the end of the evening, about late in the evening for you, but a huge bowl of stew and ales and stuff are delivered throughout the evening. Ales and stuff are floated over to you for you to drink and things like that. At the end of the evening, as the bar is getting ready to close down, this long-legged female comes in again. She smiles and goes, yeah, I thought you'd do. Tomorrow night, you play the blind beholder.
Blind beholder it is.
So the next night you go and do the same thing. Now, blind beholder is a lot rowdier. That's actually the night that Dash tags along with you.
Freddie Mercury, that one.
Yeah, you sure did. So you did well on that one. You performed well. And over the course of the next few weeks, you play at, and I'm just going to give a list of all the different bars you end up playing with. You play at the Latecomers. You play at Vera's Voluptuous Maidens. You play at the Blind Beholder a few times, the Pampered Polecat. You play here at the Sword Chest Plate. You play at dozens of bars throughout the city. And each night, same thing. She comes in toward the end of the night, either compliments you or don't. If you've done poorly, she orders a bowl of stew. If you do really well, of course, at the first bar, that was the good food at the first bar, believe it or not. But in the nights you do really well and do really well with the audience, she gives you get a really sumptuous, nice meal, the best that venue has to offer. While you're performing, though, you overhear tons of conversation, things that recur at night, things that are going on within the city. You find out that there is talk of the undead in the city and the crypts, that there's a number of undead, and the number of undead in the city have been going up slowly over the last few weeks and few months. There have been more and more reportings of them. Apparently, there's a group of from one of the churches in the Temple District that actually goes out each evening and patrols the crypts and takes care of the undead. You also find out the town criers that go out in the city and the newsboys. you find out that they can usually be bribed to find out more information. That a lot of times they know more than what they're just crying and saying out, the time criers what they're saying. A lot of times the newsboys really know the backstory of what's going on. So you kind of learn about a network of news that you can tap into. Of course, because of your having to go out and perform and do these things, your skills go up. You become a more proficient musician and singer. At the end of it, at the time that you would, when you'd finish up your training, and you've gotten to know Wald pretty well. Wald actually works with or for Mac, not directly. She's a subcontractor. She shares a number of stories and things with you, things that Mac once promoted, other groups. One of the stories that she shares with you would be of interest to Grun. It's the story of his brother's group and what happened, where they went, the things that they did, and some of their adventures. And it's Wold, W-O-L-D. Okay. Any questions there, Quorum or Dash?
Just no, I'm making notes here. So he heard from Wald and through meeting that person, the female, right?
That is Wold.
Okay, so he hears from Wald the things that she's saying, and obviously he meets connections, and he hears about this other Minotaur who is in the retrieval service that could be the person who Coram has come to think that Grun is searching.
Yep, correct.
Excellent. Okay.
Correct. And you actually hear part of the things that she shared with you is actually stories that Mac is having promoted. Things she has you incorporated into your repertoire of songs that you. Okay, who is next? Oh,
real quick, Jason, is Wald a female, like a human? Is
human.
She elf? Is she?
She's human.
And real quick, is this something that Quorum, was I there with him during any of this, or is something Quorum would have told me about, Grun?
You may not. You probably weren't with him because of what you were doing, but it probably came up in conversations.
And I specifically avoided the haughty heifer. Just saying.
Okay. So Wald, W-O-L-D?
Correct.
Okay. It's a female human?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so now yeah.
Sorry, just real quick. Where was Wald at?
Well, Wald, he first met Wald at the sword chest plate when she approached him. Okay. But she always appeared at the end of each evening of his sets to see how he did.
Okay. All right, I'll shut up now.
You're fine. You're fine. These are purposely meant to generate questions and to give you backstory and things that are going on. Okay. Originally, I was planning on just messaging you guys these, and I thought, no, we'll do it this way, so you can all hear and kind of start putting things together.
So would Grun put two and two together that she's kind of like a thief person, or is she more like a bard, or what is she?
She's a bard.
Okay.
She's the head of the bards that works for, and Coram would have figured this out too. She's the head of the bards that works with the retrieval service, telling their stories.
She's the one that I wanted these contracts with and got free meals out of, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Does that change my expenses or no?
No, it doesn't change your expenses.
Okay.
Because those expenses are not just your meal for the day. That's all your meals throughout the day and everything. And you didn't play every night, obviously.
Oh, I went hardcore for lunch, just saying.
There you go. Okay, so then there's Nalia. Our druid Nalia goes out one morning looking for fruits and vegetables, things like that, and stuff for breakfast for herself. And she finds one of the green spaces in the city. And there's a number of parks throughout the city of Gumtar Stronghold. And you decide to enjoy the greenery in the morning and do a morning meditation while you're there. And it's one of the more protected areas, and there's plenty of the tally around, so you feel safe. Well, while you're doing so, an elven woman approaches near you, and she sits down. She's dressed in robes of green and brown with a scarlet sash at the waist. As you finish your morning rituals and devotions and get ready to leave, she comes over to you and says, "You're the circle of the shepherd. It's good to see another one of our kind in the city. So often druids avoid these places."
Yes, cities aren't usually, well, I'm personally not even that experienced in a place like this.
Hmm. Yes, they can be a bit dry, but some of us have found a way to adapt to the life here. And particularly this city being one that deals in fruits and vegetables and fresh produce out to the world. There's a place for our kind here, and it's good to see another one of our kind here.
Yes, what exactly do you do around here?
Well, uh, I work. I'm trying to find the name of the group real quick in my notes here. Ah, I work for one of the enclaves here in the city. We help the local farmers and growers. One of the things that my order does, or let's just say my order, but the particular group that I work with, the conclave here, is we go out to the local plantations where they have various fruits and vegetables and things like that, particularly tropical fruits in this area. And she explains that they use their powers, their druidic powers and knowledge to help those plantations do well. They help give them pointers on how to grow things or how to do crop rotations and things like that. She says, if you'd like to join and come out with us one day and see what we do, be more than happy to take you with us.
I sort of nod and I say, I'll consider it.
Very well. Well, if you're interested, and she gives you a time and a place. So we gather at this place every morning, and a group of us go out. I go out typically every morning, and this happens to be. She says one of the bells begins chiming. And I says, "Oh, and I've got to go. I'm late now." And she kind of dashes off. And as she goes off, she turns and says, "Oh, by the way, my name is Elmward." And then she disappears in the crowd.
Okay.
So a couple of days or so goes by, and you decide, okay, yeah, I'm going to check and see what these guys do. Now you travel out with them. There's a group of them. They're standing by one of the gates in the city, and they travel out. They have horses and wagons. Some of them walk, and they travel out to the various plantations around the city, on the outskirts of the city. Most of these are banana plantations, things like this. It's like the biggest trade they do here is in tropical fruit, particularly in bananas. And in many cases, you actually witness and what you see these druids doing, and they get to a certain point, and then they'll start separating out to go to these different farms. And you go with Elmwort to the farm that she's going to that day, and you watch her. She comes up and she actually uses her magics to help the crops grow. Pushing nutrients into the soil, doing the things that druids would do. Time talking with the farmers and the plantation workers there about things they could do. Like one plantation that you all visit together, they have a crop of bananas. Their trees that are doing really poorly, and they look really not really bad, but you can tell they're not doing as well as the other trees on there. And she uses some of her magic to help them heal, but she also points out that the reason they're doing bad is because the soil's not right and the water irrigation's not right. And she makes some suggestions, things like that they could do to train and get prepared, better that crop. At the end of the day, she returns back to the city and she kind of smiles. She goes, if you would like, you can go out with us anytime you want. Though we don't always travel on foot. Sometimes she kind of gives a knowing grin and says, sometimes we take advantage of our ability to shift shape to make things go faster. Tomorrow we're going out to further out locations, so that'll be one of those days. You do know how to do that, don't you, darling?
Well, I've obviously heard of it, but I've never actually done it myself.
Come with us tomorrow. I'll show you the tricks to it. It's not that hard. You're ready.
All right.
And that's how this goes on for you. You spend days going out with them and training, and during that time, Elmwort works with you and teaches you how to do your shape shift and things like that, and get you those new skills that you have as part of your class going. She explains that her group is called the Scarlet Throne, and they actually have an enclave there in the city itself. The gold you would spend on them is actually a donation to them, not to herself, but to the throne, which you can see that they're using to go out and help these other farms and stuff around the city. She offers to mentor you, as I just said. And as you walk the farm's distance, she does all these different things and teaches you how to do those. At some of the farms, though, you notice that she takes coin for the Scarlet Throne for the services. She never asked for it, but sometimes it's given to her. And when it's given to her, she does not refuse it.
Interesting.
Any questions?
Sorry, just wrapping up notes. No, I don't think so.
Okay.
Not right now.
Okay, now we get to Grun. Oh dear, the big lummox Grun.
Hmm.
Jason, you cut out.
No, I didn't cut out. I was finding my notes. Okay, so Grun. Remember back when you were in the market and you talked to those couple of guards from the tally?
Mm-hmm.
Well, they talked to another guardsman. And what about the second day that you've had from not being there? You're kind of lounging around the tap room here in the sword chest plate. A familiar face walks in the room. Remember the sergeant from the gate when you arrived with the troll?
Sure, I remember him.
He walks in and he makes a beeline to you. He looks at you, sticks out his hand and says, "Name's Sergeant Griss."
Griss. Is he human?
Yeah, he is. He's actually human, but he's kind of short and stout for a human. He's not a dwarf either, but he's just kind of short and thick built, very strong looking. Because you're one of those special kind of fighters, aren't you? More like I am. You follow your heart and let your well. He kind of drops his voice because he says, "You let your rage do the talking, don't you?"
Girly emotions, I mean, he meant to say, right?
So just as he approached and stuck his hand and shake my hand, I would have stood up to
Okay.
kind of show somewhat of how much bigger I am than him.
Right. Which would be you're towering over him. I mean, you're big anyway, but he said he probably topping 5 foot tops.
Right. It's like it's true. I let my emotions sometimes take over, but what does that mean to you?
Well, I know. So I know how hard it is to get. Well, I used to have a friend who was like you. It can be hard to get better at what you do, and in these civilized places, it can grate on you, can't it?
Mm,
You want a chance every now and then just to knock some heads in.
mm. I'm just snorting.
Okay. He goes, "Yeah, I thought so. Tell you what, tonight. I got a place I'll show you. If you're interested. You can bring your friends if you want."
The bar. That's the
Yeah.
name of it? The bar?
No, that's not the name. It's called the Merchantman.
The Merchantman. Is there a reason why I need to bring my friends?
Oh no, I just don't want you to feel uncomfortable, friend.
No offense, but I feel comfortable wherever I am.
Very well. I'll come by at 8th bell and I'll show you where the Merchantman's at.
So what exactly are we gonna be doing here?
Oh, it's just a bar. But I think it's the kind of bar you'll like.
Does it
A
have
lot
free
better than
drinks?
this place.
Is there free drinks involved?
Yeah, I'll buy a round or two for you.
Sounds like a bar I like.
All right. So later that evening, at 8th bell, which is later in the day, he returns and he leads you out in the town, and it's already getting dark. He takes you actually to, as I've shared before, there are 2 big ramps in the city that come down and go up to the grotto below. And he leads you down the ramp going to the grotto below. And you go all the way down to the ship grottos. And of course, down at the grotto, it's docks and things like that. And he leads you around the docks to one of the more disused looking portions of the dock. And there is an old merchant trading vessel there that's tied up to the dock. It has no sails on its masts. The entire ship has been converted into a bar,
Mm.
and there's a couple places a couple gangplanks you can use to come on. As you come on, you notice like on the deck itself, there's all these tables and stuff set up, and there's some performers on one of the upper decks, and you can hear the music, and it's kind of raucous and loud, and people are laughing. There's card games going on in one of the other decks, one of the higher decks in the back, the Stern Castle deck, Four Castles where the band's playing at, and he leads you over to, and you've been around enough ships, Grun. He leads you over to what should be the entrance that leads down into the cargo hold of the ship. As you approach the cargo hold, you notice that the whole area around it, they've added a railing, and there's a number of people on the railing, leaning on the railing, and they're calling out bets and things like that. And as you get to the cargo hold, to where you can see in, they've turned the cargo hold area that you can see from the loading section into a fighting pit. And they're actually having fights and casting bets on these fights. And Grizz turns around and he makes a motion, and shortly thereafter, a couple big tankards of the local ale shows up, and he shoves one in his hand and says, "What do you think, Grun?"
Looks like there's some people who need some heads knocked in.
Yeah, well, you know what? I'll spot you on your first match if you want to get in on it.
Spot me on my first match. What do you mean by that?
Well, to fight here on the Merchantman, you have to have someone who's from around here to introduce you to the right people to get you on the dance card for the night.
So
I got the right connections. I can get you on the dance card. You interested?
you want me to volunteer to fight?
If you wanna.
Then what do I get out of it?
Half the winnings.
Okay. I'm starting to get interested, but you haven't set an amount yet.
Well, I don't know what the amount will be. It'll depend on the bets. That's the catch.
I'll kind of take a look at some of the guys I'm about to fight, and assuming that he's not scared at all or they don't look intimidating, he's like, whatever, that's fine. He's kind of indifferent, but he'll do it.
Okay, so he leads you, back down to one of the stairwells that lead down to it. Was at one point it had been a ladder way, but they've converted into actual stairs now that the ship is static and permanently docked. And he takes you down into the lower area and says, "Let me show you around a little bit." And he leads you around there, and the whole area, that's not a part of the visible part, looks down through the entrance to the cargo bay hold, has been turned into a training area. They got bags hanging there and stuff that you can practice and train with, things like that. And there's a number of different fighters getting trained. None of them looking tougher than you. This look like everyday people. Because, some places call it a fight club. That's probably a good name for the place. Most of the people here aren't trained. You, most of them are here just because they like to throw a few fists every now and then. Here, keeps them out of the public view, lets them be rowdy and raucous, and we don't have any trouble. So the tally kind of helps keep this place running. See what I'm saying, Graham?
Sure. He's confused by all the talk, but yeah.
Okay.
I keep nodding.
So, and I won't do it all in his voice, but pretty much what you see here, there's this huge training complex on the lower deck, and these people are learning hand-to-hand skills or beating on bags or whatever. And he's willing to spot you to get you into the game. Now, you heard the betting going on upstairs. When you come downstairs, there's the list of the cards, who's and it's written with grease pencil on a piece of polished board that hangs there on the wall. And there's a listing of who's fighting and what rounds, and just a list of names of fighters and who they're paired with. And then off beside it is the value of the expected purse for each one of the matches. And the purses aren't high. They're like, the highest one you see is like 100 gold. Okay. But again, there's no professional values now, because it's not a lot of money, but it's a good place to learn skills. You know what I'm saying?
That's pretty much the gist of most of his conversation.
Right, and I figured about it. So what you figure out here is what he's really showing you is a place where you can come and practice beating the hell out of things and not get in trouble with the law. And you might make a little money for the fights too.
Sounds interesting.
So you want to fight tonight?
If there's coin involved, I'll give it a shot.
Okay, we'll sign you up. So he goes over and he goes, "Make your mark here." He points at the next open spot on the thing.
Gonna punch it.
Okay. Yes. Ah, hmm. He takes the grease pencil and says, "I really meant with a pen, Grun." He writes in your name there for you in comment.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
He goes, "Just hang out and get ready. They'll call for you once you're about." And about a half hour, 40 minutes go by, and he doesn't really go too far. He stays there, nearby. And just give me 2 dex checks, Brian, just so I can see how well your fight goes. Okay, so the first half of your fight goes really well. You're fighting with a guy who's not that great with skilled, and it's just fist hand to hand combat, things like that. The second half you get pummeled a little bit, but in the end you get declared the winner. You, when it all is said and done, comes up, you're sitting there having drinks with Gris. Gris kind of looks at you and goes, "Oh, let me give you your winnings." And he reaches in and he pulls out a purse and he flips it over and says, that guy wasn't ranked very well. And of course, you were new, so we only made 6 gold overall tonight. Tell you what, you can keep it all. He just shoves the whole bag to you, or the whole pile to you.
Kind of wipe some of the blood and snot from his nostril. So 6 gold, whatever. I've had worse.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, you want to come back? The merchantman's open any night. And I was watching you fight. I can show you a few things that might make you better. And the more you fight here, the more those purses will go up, the more money you'll make.
There's one thing that Grunt understands, that's making more money. So I'm in. Your name is Gris, right?
Yeah, Gris. Griss. So over the course of the next few weeks or so, you find yourself going down, fighting at the merchantman, and you get better. You learn to take a beating. You learn to dish out and control your rage enough to help you to become more powerful as a fighter. You also learn some other things. Okay. This is from course of the conversation you hear around as you're waiting on fights or between fights. And you don't fight every night. Most nights you fight at least one round. You learn that, and you've seen this in town, there's a number of orcs that are a part of the town guard, the city guard, the tally. Most of them, or all of them actually, come from a tribe called the Gumtooths. And the Gumtooths have only been in the city, or a major part of the city, in the last, say, 5-6 years. Prior to that, they were a typical orc tribe. They were raiding and trading and doing their thing outside, as orcs will tend to do. A little bit further to the north, but they had worked their way down here. And for the most part, the Gumtooths weren't just a raiding group, they were more of a mercenary army. And they took up residence to base their mercenary work out of the city here. And over time, it didn't take too long, the leader of the Gumtooths, their tribal leader, actually became a part of this noble city council. And that's how the orcs became a part of the city guard. And the merchantman that you're fighting on is actually one of his holdings. And that's actually one of the ways he became part of the city noble structure. They realized that through the actions of him setting up, that he was able to control and cut down some of the fighting and ruckusness in the city by giving a legal way for people to do that without and cause less trouble for the guard.
Okay, interesting. These are all orcs or half orcs, or is that right?
For the Gumtooths, yeah, they're mostly they're pure orcs. There are a few half orcs in them. Usually, the half orcs tend to be higher ranked if they're working for the tally than the full orcs. Usually, just because honestly they're smarter. I mean, we know that from character creations.
Okay.
And the leader of the Gumtooth is actually a half orc.
Okay. So out of character, is orcs something that throughout the realm are kind of like okay to be around, or is it like
yeah, depending on what part of the realms you're in, the particular realm here that you're in here, for the most part, unless you go like way up into the mountains, they're more brutal up there. But for the most part, the ones that travel around the more civilized area, they're like this. They're either roving mercenary bands. They're not typically raiders and traders. Not traders, not typically raiders. They've become they're more civilized than most orcs in most worlds.
So where I'm going with this is based on my background in Beach Castle and doing some odd work for the soldiery there. I wouldn't have any, I guess, negative or any kind of battles or fights with orcs while I was there. Is that correct?
No, probably not. I mean, you may have encountered some that were, part of the militaries that you fought or the groups you fought, but as far as a huge band of raiding orcs to come through, those haven't happened in decades in the area.
Okay. Right.
I mean, they did in the past, but not in, like I said, not in decades.
Okay.
Okay. Any other questions for Grun?
So this happens over the next, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, whatever it was, the time frame
Yeah.
of that. And I've pretty much learned everything up through level 3 once I'm done
Yep.
with that. Is that correct?
Yep. Correct.
All right, that's fine. So this guy is actually going to teach me something about my aura thing as well. Is that correct?
Yep. You actually find out that Gris, though he is talking game mechanic wise, though he is a fighter now and a part of the guards, he actually started out as a barbarian himself. So he can actually train you up to a certain point.
Okay. And I'm sorry, I missed it. Is Gris, is he an orc as well, or is he?
No, he is a just a really stocky built human.
Okay. Right. I'm good.
Okay,
Thank you, sir.
no problem. Now we come to Bertra. You ready, Bertra?
Yes, I am.
Okay, so one of the mornings you're out, one of the days you're out shopping, you're approached by a male orc. He's wearing a set of well-maintained armor. On his right pauldron is a stylized bronze torch that's been painted on there. On the pauldron itself is made of bronze, but and the torch has been painted on and enameled on it in black and red. He bows to you and says, "Lady, I am Whistlestick. You appear to be one who practices the martial arts. I represent a group that trains people like you. There's no obligation on your part, other than possibly paying a small fee if you decide to take use of our services. We can teach you the best ways to use that equipment of yours in battle."
I'd like that. My training was cut a bit short, shall we say.
Well, we could definitely help you with that. I'll tell you what. And he gives you, he produces a piece of cardstock or, heavier card paper. And it's already been written on. It says, "Come to this address whenever." So ask for me, Whistlestick. And if you're interested, I'll show you around. And if you like what you see, maybe we can help you out.
Certainly be around.
Excellent. I look forward to seeing you. And then he departs on. And you can see, if you watch him for any length of time, he does the same thing to several other well-armed people within the crowd. People look like to be soldiers or fighters or traveling swordsmen like you. He makes the similar approach. So if you even get close enough, he seems to say the same kinds of things to each one of them. It's kind of like he's looking to recruit. So do you go check them out the following day or a day or so, or what?
Probably the next day, yeah.
Okay. So next day or so you go out and you track down this address and you kind of check it out. And you come around to a set of buildings. It's in one of the better parts of the town, not one of the greatest parts of town, but one of the better parts of town. And it's a enclosed enclave-like area, and you come into the doors, and you notice that the same symbol that was on his pauldron is painted on the walls outside of the entrance to this enclave. When you come in, there is another gentleman standing there, and he greets you, and you tell him you're looking for Whistles. And he says, "Wait right here, I'll get him." And he disappears for a second, and another gentleman dressed in similar equipment armor comes out and takes his place, and you kind of get the impression that they're probably either the guards or the greeters or something like that of this entrance. A little bit later, Whistlestick comes around through there, and he approaches you, and he's an orc, and he comes up to you, and he's in this armor again, and he's got the same bronze pauldron on that one side, and he says, "I knew you'd come. let me show you around. So he starts taking you around this building that you're in. Now, from the outside, it looks rather plain, rather normal, but as soon as you go through the entrance into the main building, all the what would be like the dining halls and the meeting halls for this room, because it was probably built for like a business or something like that in the past, all that furniture has been removed. And this whole first level, there are dozens upon dozens of different soldiers doing training and combat and doing different maneuvers and things like that. And he takes you around different parts of it, and he points out different trainers. One is working with like staves, and one's working with swords and different calls and different combat styles. And he goes, the Bronze Torch, that's what we're called. If you haven't noticed, he kind of points to the emblem on his shoulder. He says, we're a mercenaries unit. And how many of these soldiers here that you see are members of our unit. We're always looking for fresh people, new people, but there's no obligation. If you want to fight with us, you can. If not, you can't. If you want to train, we have trainers and men and women ready to teach you different skills. Of course, there's a fee associated with it. Now, if you were to become a full member of the Bronze Torch, that fee is significantly less, obviously. But for the general public who wants to come in and learn how to spin a staff or to swing a sword, or even by this point you're walking by a set of archers, an archery range, and they're shooting the bow, or shoot a bow, and you're more than able to come in and receive that training. It's part of the arrangement we worked out with the city council. And as he's saying this, one of the people that's training on the bow, you can tell he's a noob. He probably never picked up a bow in his life. And he lets go of the arrow, and the arrow is actually coming toward you all. And the guy sings out, but before the guy running the archery range can even really say anything, Whistlestick pulls out his bow staff, and he spins it around and just swats the arrow out of the air and across the back wall. And you notice as the stick, it actually makes a slight whistling sound. And he puts the stick back on the guy and says, sorry about that. He's new.
I can see why they call you Whistle Stick. It's very impressive.
He laughs and he goes, let you in on a secret. He comes a little bit closer to you and he pulls a stick up to where, like pulls over in front of you where you can see the end of it. And you notice there's a series of small grooves and tunnels in the end of the stick. He goes, I'm not really good, but a few modifications to the staff and you earn yourself a cool nickname.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, also works on the battlefield too. Someone sees you spinning a staff and it's making a whistling noise, they assume they don't want to mess with you.
So, your group, how often you to actually go fighting?
Yeah, well, we've been here at Gumtar, or based out of Gumtar, for over 3 years now. But we have forces of field already. There are a number of baronies and would-be groups that will hire us for other areas to defend things, and defend parts of the city, and not this city, but other cities. So we have active groups in other cities right now, or working for other city lords. So there's quite a bit of combat going on throughout the region. I said the groups here, mostly new recruits being trained, or like me, older soldiers who come back for a bit of time off the battlefield.
Do you train the tally at all?
We have trained some of the tally guard. That is part of our contract. There are some that come in for training, not many. Tooth tribe, they tend to do their own training, but a lot of the human guards will come to us for training, particularly in swordplay and some in archery. Though the tally tends to favor crossbows.
Well, I think I'll pay, and then I'll think about maybe joining at a later date.
Fair enough. I said we saw you and I thought you might be a good candidate, and that's perfectly acceptable. So, you work out the arrangements and you spend some time with there. Now, while you're there, you get the chance to speak with a lot of people and see a lot of things. One of the things you notice is, these guys, the ones that are actually from the Bronze Torch, they're well trained and well skilled, particularly the ones doing the training. Now, some of the newer ones, you can tell the newer recruits, they're not as good. They actually set up a number of sparring matches between you and other ones to teach you different skills and things like that to get you up to par with what you're doing. One of the things that Whistlestick actually takes your training on himself. One of the things that he does to you, Bertra, is he will actually send you out to do a calisthenic run. And as soon as you come back in from the run, and he might send you out for a 3 or 4 or 5 mile or maybe a 15-mile run. And as soon as you come back into the run, he puts you into a sparring match. And then you'll be in the middle of a sparring match and he'll start adding additional opponents to you, to the point where you're nearly exhausted every time you fight, and you learn how to dig into that well of strength to pull that last bit of effort to get through the fights. And you feel yourself becoming better and stronger at what you do. When you're not training, he shows off to you the areas of the grounds, shows other things. He actually takes you around and shows you a number of armors and weapon shops in the city that might sell stuff that would be useful to you. One of the shops he takes you to, it's in the more rundown district thing, and you're kind of worried about it when you go in there because you're thinking, okay, what's in this shop? And when you come up on the shop, all that's hanging outside the door. Most shops have these detailed signs with all the colors and things like that. This one has none of that. The only thing is hanging outside the shop is this huge two-handed broadsword, and it's definitely of orcish design. You've seen enough orc weapons in your life, you know an orc style weapon. And when you walk in, there's this huge burly orc running the shop, and he has weapons all over the place. And Whistlestick tells you, says, he's not the brightest, he's not the quickest of merchants. And he doesn't really have a name for his shop. It's just called Big Weapons. But he specializes in large weaponry. Said, and if he doesn't have it what you want, and you can describe it to him, he knows the right people to find what you're looking for, or to tell you who to go get an item commissioned for you to work with.
Does he do this work often? I mean, I can't imagine there's much need for large weapons. I mean, are there people like...
Well, and as you look around the shop, most of the weapons are like two-handed weapons, things like that. And they're big because they're made, for orcs for the most part. Most of them are orcish weapons. There's even orcish styled armor in there that he has. And so the locals just kind of started calling it big weapons. Said, even though, and he looks at the orc behind the counter, and he goes, "Can I let her in on it?" And the big orc just nods his head and he goes, "Okay, here's the truth, Bertra. People think he's slow, but the truth is, that's probably the smartest orc in the city right there."
I have to say, I understand people judging by looks.
And the orc actually starts joining in the conversation, and through the conversation with him, you learn that he came up with this plan years ago, and even before the Gumtooth arrived in the city. And he came in the city, and he specialized in selling large weapons, two-handed swords, great axes, great swords, armor fitted for big people. And because he was an orc, he just played up the fact that, and he just played down his intelligence, and he used that to his advantage in negotiation. And a lot of times he was able to buy higher end weaponry from people at a lower price because they didn't think he realized where it was coming from. In many cases, he knew he was buying stolen goods and things like that, but he turned that around and made that into a business.
Okay, I have a look around, see if there's anything like truly special in the shop.
You see a number of items that are nice, like nice pieces. You can tell they're nice pieces. Nothing that would fit what you're looking for yet. But as you're looking around, he goes, "I know what you're needing. You're wanting something big, aren't you?" And he kind of looks at your two axes that you wield, and he goes, "Do you use both of those at the same time?"
Yeah.
Yeah, I know what you're looking for. You're wanting the next size up, aren't you?
Eventually.
I'll keep my eyes open for you. Where are you staying at? So I can send a note if I find something worth of value for you.
The sword chest plate.
When you say that, he looks around and he looks down and he spots the rings. Ah, I see. I'll send word if anything comes across my tables that might be of interest to you.
Thank you very much. And then I leave.
All right. And of course, you visit other places and shops in the city with him, and you actually go out a couple times with Whistlestick as he's doing recruiting. Not so much to recruit with him, just kind of watch their approach and what they're doing. You function kind of as he actually go out kind of like this to watch his back that day, and you realize when you're doing this that as you think back on he seemed very unprotected and all by himself in the crowd, but you realize based on some of the training that they've given you, there had to be a handful of the Bronze Torch nearby when he was doing what he was doing with you. All right. Any questions from anybody?
I think we're good, man.
All right. The one I got left to tell the story of is the worst one that's not here. So I did get everybody right. Yeah.
Except for Lightning, yeah.
Okay. I can send Lightning the note so she has it.
All right, so out of character, sounds like Corin may have got a couple theme songs going for Grun.
We got Shit Town. We got One Last Breath. We got Another One Bites the Dust. We got Lightning Crashes. A lot of good '90s music.
Oh, lovely. Oh, lovely. We'll have to share. You need to share those up in the links to them in the forum so somebody can listen to the originals and give us your words to it if you're going to change any.
Well, the Shit Town one's an inside joke, but it's to let Grun know I'm rooting for him.
Okay. So as you can see, and I'm sure you learned a bit about the town and the city around you. It's more than it seems. So you wanted to go out and take a look at the overturned wagon. Is that correct?
Yeah,
And
why
we want to
not?
go unearth that hole that we covered up and set on fire, et cetera, et cetera. We want to go down and explore what we may have missed.
All right. So give me a second here to find that map while you guys tell me what you're wanting to do and chit chat among yourselves.
Before we go, does anyone else need a shovel? All I have is one shovel and a pickaxe.
Yeah, I'm sure that a couple of us will probably go try to find something else to help us dig.
That's not a problem. That'd be a couple silver pieces at the mercantile shop you guys were at before.
Also, out of curiosity, I forgot to ask, did I get that chain and that lock back from that troll, or I assume that's just gone?
Yeah, it's just gone. It never.
Okay. Not a problem. I didn't ask for it.
Okay, so it doesn't take you guys long to locate the former fortress of Dib, and your tokens are still on the map, fortunately, because I never took them off.
Grun will ask if anyone has the magic ability to move Earth before we start digging.
I mean, I can, but it's pretty violent.
Oh, okay. I just remember seeing my brother do it before, so I wasn't sure who else had that. Except his wasn't so violent, as I recall. All right, so I guess I'll start digging if no one else is going to.
Okay, well, it takes you. Looks like Dash has already got his shovel out and started digging.
I wasn't waiting.
Okay. So you guys dig into it. It doesn't take you with 3 or 4 of you working that long to dig your way back down because you knew where the entrance was at because you saw it whenever you filled it all in with the mess that you made when it's here last time. Lightning agrees to stay on top to serve as a lookout and protects you from the top. Let's leave her token where it's at.
Sounds good.
So are we making this hole big enough for Virtue to fit in?
Oh, Bertra's making the hull, so yeah, we assume she is.
Just assumed I was gonna stay on top.
You assumed wrong.
Several times, Grun will look at the hole and look at Bertra. I'm not digging that big a hole. Oh, we disappear.
Hey guys, there's a wagon down here.
Scroll down on your map, guys. Let me take care of one thing there before you come around the corner.
Now, in theory, everything should be dead, but just in case, I stealth ahead.
Yeah, 1 second. That's what I'm taking care of.
Are you saying that? Or you're just thinking it.
Oh no, I will stealth ahead.
No, but
But-
are you saying the fact that you think everything's dead? Because that's what Grun's assuming as well. Unless someone
Yeah.
says something.
Has the smoke
No.
all cleared out of here since we?
Yeah. Yeah, the smoke is clear. I mean, there's definitely the odor of smoke, but the smoke is long clear.
Ooh, it stinks down here.
Yeah, it also smells faintly. Has a faint, sweet smell to the air. Now's where you learn the interesting facts about your DM, that he's actually smelled the smell of burnt bodies. I did for a number of years. I worked in search and rescue for the Civil Air Patrol, and I worked on a number of crash sites. One of the first things I learned is that the smell of drying blood is actually sweet. So as you are there in the tunnel that you find underneath, there's a rough tunnel, and you can, of course, it takes a little bit to dig the debris and the stuff out to find the tunnel, but the tunnel heads a little bit to the east, and then it hooks around and hooks south. And initially, when you dig in the tunnel, there's a handful of bodies you find almost right away that were either killed in the stuff that you collapsed onto it or killed in the smoke, but not that many bodies. There's like 3 or 4 goblin bodies there.
Does anyone want to do a quick search on those ones before we go ahead?
You find 3 silver pieces and 15 copper pieces on their bodies.
Out of character, are we good to go, Jason?
Yeah. You're good to go. As you come around the corner there, Dash, the tunnel hooks around, actually makes a hook and hooks back the way you were coming originally, but a little bit further south. And then the tunnel narrows a bit, almost like it was purposely built here in a narrow to make a narrowing of people that come in there. And of course, you can't see much. There is no light down here otherwise than what your own night vision is seeing, so you can't see very much in front of you.
I'll whisper to the group. Looks like everything's pretty dead.
Corum, as you poke around the corner there and look, you can see a number of goblins laying on the ground, scattered throughout the room.
Guys, there's like 10 dead in here.
Okay.
And Dash, as you peek around the corner, come into the room there, you see the same number, same littering of goblin bodies. As you get closer to that one there, you can tell it's not moving. It's dead.
Okay, I just speak up to everyone. Hey, yeah, everything quite dead. I'll stop stealthing.
Okay. So the room itself that you come into is a little bit larger room, as you can tell. And it's probably, I don't know what that is. Top gets measuring tool out and actually measure it. About 75 foot long by 40 foot across, but it's irregular in shape. Toward the most western edge, there's kind of like an alcove dugout, and there's actually this raggedy looking throne built there, and there's actually a goblin that's sitting on that throne, and he actually died on that throne. Uh, the throne, now saying a throne, I'm not talking about a sophisticated, complicated throne. It looks like it at some point was just a chair, and they've nailed some pieces to the back of it to make it taller, and then there's some uh, animal skulls and stuff around the top edge of decoration and some pelts on it, probably of foxes or something like that that had been nailed on there to make it look more kingly to a goblin.
Okay.
Well, the
Well, I
Goblin
guess I'll-
King.
Dash will go ahead and start checking some of these, seeing if there's any chests or whatever these footlocker looking things are.
Actually, those are pallets. Those are actually their little pallets, sleeping pallets they had on with the little pillows that they had put together for themselves. As you begin searching around through there, it takes you collectively about 45 minutes or so to go through all the bodies and all that. You turn up about 20 gold pieces worth of various currencies and coins. So you found about 20 gold orbs worth of value. I mean, you only find like one real gold orb. The rest of it's a combination of silver and copper, but it comes out to about 20 gold orbs worth of coin that you can take out of here. They have weapons of various kinds. Most of them are pretty much junk. You find that each one of these has a crappy dagger that they had, and a few of them have clubs, and a couple of them have long sticks that probably they were trying to use as clubs, but wouldn't have done very well as clubs.
I'll grab a couple of the crappy daggers.
Okay. Just jot down how many you pick up. There's say half a dozen of them in here total.
While they're doing
Three of them.
they're doing that, Bertra searches for like any writing, like in Goblin, or any like Goblin made sort of like knickknacks, folk art, I guess.
Okay. Up near the under the Goblin King's throne, you find a scroll that he was keeping, and it's written in Goblinese, and it's a mishmash of Goblin and Common, maybe a little bit of orc thrown in there as you're reading it. And it doesn't take you long. You can make enough of it out. It seems to be a history of this little tribe of goblins and how they came to be here in this location. What you can glean from it, give me a intelligence check, Bertra. Oh, you slam that intelligence check. So you quickly and you glean out that apparently this group of goblins, led by the mighty Dib, as his notes call himself, were cast out of one of the local goblin tribes to the south of here. And they wandered up until they found this wagon that you guys destroyed. And they turned it into a fortress, as you well know. And they've been harassing passerbyers and from wagons for a little while now. But they had been cast out because apparently Dib and several of his others were a little bit too greedy and were stealing from the other goblins in the tribe, and they had literally been cast out of the goblin tribes. And that's how they came to be here all by themselves this far, this close to the coastline.
Does it mention the tribe's name?
At one point it did, but apparently he was so annoyed and aggravated at this particular tribe that he had crossed it out so many times that he actually ripped a hole in the parchment doing it.
I'll keep the parchment.
Just add it to your inventory there as a Goblin Tribe parchment. Or
Yeah,
however you want to word it.
I'll add it after the session.
Yeah, no problem. Well, the rest of you don't hear as you go around the stinky goblin, smoked goblin cave.
I didn't put all my stuff in the chat.
Yeah, I've been reading some of your stuff as it goes by on the chat screen
Just marking my territory. Nothing out of the ordinary.
here.
Other than avoiding Grun's territory, Dash would have just been looking for trinkets. So
You find a handful of few stuff, but you can tell they haven't been here that long. Most of the time that they had been here had been working on enlarging this complex and making it livable for them. They considered Dib to be quite the leader, and he apparently considered himself that in his own writings. You don't find any other writings. I mean, there's some crude drawings on the walls and things like that, but nothing. You do notice, just as you're going through, that there are no females.
so
Any of us have
looks
any
like a
kind of-
hunting party.
More or less, or that's what it would look like, yeah. Sorry, what'd you say, Brian?
No, he answered. I was gonna say, would we find that odd at all, or what's the deal with that?
Well, to be a sustaining tribe, it would obviously have to have a group of females within the tribe, and they didn't have any, so that would have struck you as odd. So even if Bertha doesn't share what she read on the scroll with you, then you would definitely have found it odd.
I just was seeing someone picking up the goblins and looking at their dangly bits to figure out if they're male or female. All right,
Sorry.
I'm done.
We all clear?
Dash is good.
Sorry you didn't find any super special treasure, Dash.
Just more curious if they actually managed to get any good loot.
No, I
And
left-
good to know that
I-
we, took out a few of the buggers.
I left some loot for the next guy.
So what's the plan? Back to the top and back to the city?
Yeah.
Okay, so you go back to the city and you enjoy, I'll switch the map here, but you enjoy a week worth of revelry and fun, and then you get back to your training, which doesn't take about a week after the I'm laughing myself here with the mic off because I just switched the map and didn't move you all to the new map. So you return back to the city and you go about your various trainings and all that. And about a week or so after the festival, you get a note from Mac that he has a job for you. When you arrive at the sword chest plate for your meeting, Mac is not there. You deal with Arden again, the elf, with all the tattoos on him. Arden explains to you the job is simple. A local noble has hired the retrieval service to clean out his new house. When he sees a bit of confused looks from the group,
undead that we were hearing about?
do what?
We were hearing about undead in the city, or was that just a song that was told about us?
Oh, Arden kind of smiles and goes, yeah, well, there has been quite a few more of those lately. And I'll share a little bit from Lightning's story because she wasn't here and you didn't hear that part. In Lightning's training while she was out learning, she found out, and she was working with a temple from the temple district, and they actually have groups that go out, and they've been doing this for years. They would go out and clean out the undead from the crypts and make sure that the dead were sleeping properly. Though over the last couple of weeks, the number of undead has slowly been increasing in the city. Nothing they can't manage or handle, but they've had to send out more patrols and larger groups to take care of it. And Arden promotes explains, says, "Yeah, I've heard more about that. There seems to be more of those than usual of late. Nothing to worry about though. The temple clerics seem to have it under control, and the tally do regular sweeps, so it shouldn't be that bad." Now we do have a most honored uh, client who is a noble moving to this area. He has purchased a small castle just outside of the city limits, a place called the family of Caldwell, and locally it's called the Caldwell Castle. Uh, the Lord is planning to take up residence, and he is in the castle as soon as possible. However, when he arrived here, he discovered that said castle already has occupants of the illegal type. He has asked our service to go out and vacate the squatters from his properties. Mac has already vetted all the paperwork and double checked to make sure that we're not being lied to. This transaction was legally conducted here in Gumtar Stronghold. Everything checked out. So he would like to have his property returned to him. He does not care how you go about it, and he doesn't care about what items are in the castle currently, as he plans to empty that anyway and bring his own materials and furnishings and those sort of things in. Are you interested in this job?
Yes.
Good. Do you not want to know what it pays?
No, we want to know. We definitely want to know.
Most excellent. I figured you would. According to the contracts that Mac was forwarded and the sums and the typical rates we pay our groups, it would be 500 gold apiece.
Yeah, we definitely want to take this job.
Do we know anything more about the squatters? Is it just illegal, normal people, or?
Well, according to the contractor, it would be a group of bandits that he encountered, or that his people encountered when he was first there. Though there could be other things. These people didn't go much further than the entranceway. Once they were run off, they decided that that wouldn't be a good use of their time.
So, aside from just knowing that they're squatters, do we have any kind of racial profiles, like anything to go off of?
I'm sorry, we don't. Mike has sent some people out to investigate. We have seen some goblins in the area. We have seen some human bandits or rougher humans working in the area, but beyond that, we really can't say much. The castle has been empty. Said I can give you some information on the castle itself. Castle Caldwell was built during the early days of Gumtar Stronghold by Lord Caldwell. It was built in place, and it was his home for a number of years until he passed. It fell to his children, both of which moved away and left the castle vacant, and has been vacant now for probably 8-9 years, maybe longer. At least vacant from many former residents. Now, in its day, it was one of the main spots, and Lord Caldwell actually sat on the council for a short time here in the city. The property is a quite nice piece of property. It's located about 6-8 miles outside of town. Sits on a main thoroughfare in a nice wooded area. The castle sits on a little bit higher ground, so you can see around and see all the approaches. And the entrance itself is raised up slightly to make it even harder in case someone would attack it. It really wasn't built for defense. It's more of a home than it would be, say, a defending castle or something like. It's not like the stronghold here in Gumtar Stronghold itself.
So does that mean we got to like break into it? Or do we have a key or something?
Well, no, there's a key, and he remembers and he goes, here it is, and he pulls out from his robes. He pulls out a large brass key. Yes, this is the key to the main gate, at least according to the last time it was used. Though according to what his servants told him, the front door gates or front door is standing open. should make it simple enough or easy enough for you to enter. But in case you need the key to get in, here's the key. And he says, oh, and this is the master key. It should fit every lock in the place.
We
Is
Dash
there,
pats his pocket. I don't think we have to worry so much about the key, but we'll take it just in case.
is there any mention of any other ways in? Maybe unseen?
Not that anybody has mentioned or told us about. Not that any of the scribes turned up in their research before we assigned you the job. There appears to be the one single entrance in and out. According to the information we have, the lower levels of the castle had a natural spring in it that provided water in case it would need or be secluded. But to my understanding, there's weren't any way to access those other than through the castle itself.
What's the time limit on the job?
Well, he would like to take residence as soon as possible, but he did not put a hard and fast, you have to have it done by next week kind of thing. He would like to, his plans is to start officially moving his family and his servants into the castle by the end of the month. And since the festival just finished, guys, that's like 3 or 4 weeks away. So you have plenty of time.
we have any idea of the numbers of squatters that are in there?
Well, it was enough that his servants turned away, and the few people that we sent out to scout the area, like I said, they reported a few goblins and stuff in the area. But the servants didn't mention goblins; they mentioned bandits, and according to them, they only saw 4 or 5.
You see one, there's usually 2 more hiding somewhere.
Well, that was kind of the reason why they decided to leave too. The same thought process. So there's chances are there's probably a good small bandit group within using the castle.
All right, so before we leave this time, can we ask you if we can like borrow a wagon or a cart or something?
Yes, you can rent a cart. That's not a problem. I can make arrangements for that.
And go and look over at Bertram.
How much would that cost?
Her to carry everything.
Let's see, the rental of a cart. Don't know off the top of my head. Of course, there we go.
There we
It'll
go.
probably be a silver piece a day. Nothing major.
You said
We can,
600
and
miles
if you would like, we can just deduct that from your group pay. If you want me to distribute it evenly amongst your group pay, and provided you're gone very long.
Well, if we get a wagon, we also have to have a horse.
Do you also assume all liability for the cart?
He looks a bit panicked at that thought, and he goes, "Well, I guess we could do that." And yes, there would be a horse for it.
I think a silver a day without any liability sounds fantastic.
Agreed.
Very well. I will make arrangements. When would you like to leave?
Well, do you have any healing potions for sale? Discount? Wink, wink.
He smiles and goes, "You'll have to talk to the merchant in the city for that, my friend."
All right.
How about we just take today, get any supplies and gear we need, roll out tomorrow morning?
Excellent. I'll
Okay.
have the wagon waiting out for wagon or cart.
Whatever's cheapest or can
Okay.
carry the most.
Oh, very well. Probably a wagon then, and it'd be about the same rate. So I will have a wagon waiting for you outside the sword chest plate at first bell in the morning.
Want to throw a tent in there with that price too?
Yeah, tents are up to your own self.
I don't need one, but kind of motions the other folks, and they may need one.
I'm sleeping under that wagon.
I'm used to sleeping outside on the mountain. I don't need it.
Yeah, love that the manly musk smell, or in your case, the womanly musk smell. That's what I like.
Very well. I'll make arrangements for the wagon to be outside in the morning. Have a nice day. And Arden disappears into the, well, literally disappear. He just goes back to things he's doing in the tavern. Okay, what items are you guys looking for or need?
Healing potion.
Dash needs to swing by either a blacksmith or a place to buy unusual weapons.
What kind of weapons are you wanting?
Looking for a kind of a custom scimitar looking thing.
Oh, okay. You did encounter and meet a blacksmith the last time you were in town. I know what you're after now, Dash. So you travel back to him because he did do custom items. Let me see what the price on that would be. Hold on.
I thought hand crossbow was on the top of the list.
No.
So you meet up with the blacksmith. I don't remember the name off the top of my head, so we'll leave that out for now. And you begin negotiating with him. He opens the bidding and says, after you explain what you're at, he says, "Yeah, I can make something like that. What would you like it made of? I mean, standard steel? Do you want it embellished anyway? Anything special done with it?"
I'm not looking so much for embellishment. How much would it cost to look at either solid steel or probably wood for the actual handle and then steel for the blades?
Well, if it made of steel, certainly, sir. It's a custom piece.
Yeah, it's a bit unusual, but I mean, it is for the retrieval service, and I'm sure you'll be
Yes,
getting a lot more patronage from us, and you could definitely push more
that it
customers your
is.
way.
Let's see. You understand the construction that is not easy to do. For just plain, unsilvered, unembellished, leather wrapped wooden handles, 75 gold for the manufacture of it.
How much would it cost to put silver plating on the actual blades?
To have it silvered, add another 20 gold to that. So 95.
Deal.
Okay.
That works for me.
It will, because of the unusual nature and the time it'll take us to craft that, it'll take us about 2 weeks.
Sounds good. Do you want the money up front or half now, half later?
Simply because you're with retrieval service, 10 gold pieces down would be sufficient.
Okay. Dash hands over 10 gold.
And when it's completed, should I send the runner to notify you?
Yes, please.
Where to then?
Or chest plate.
Very well. He jots down information, your name and all that, and he actually gives you a bill of sale, saying pending final bill of sale, 85 gold pieces owed and all that, and hands it over to you.
Pleasure doing business. Thank you.
And all the bill says on it is specialty weapon. As far as the description. Anything else anybody else needs?
Healing potion, please.
A healing potion.
Or two.
Okay. Here we go again, Grunt. So you go back to. Do you go back to the same guy? Different shop?
Wherever Mac or Arender or whoever it was I talked to said I should go to.
Oh yeah, they actually referred you back to the same shop that you were in last time.
Yeah. I'll reluctantly go back there.
You going back there?
Reluctantly, yes.
Okay. So you walk into the shop again. You see the same wizard, the same kind of setup. He's got this stack of stuff going up in the middle, and the counter goes around in the room. There's nothing on the walls. He goes, what can I do for you?
And this time I'll walk up to the bar or whatever he's got there and point right at my ring on my horn. Says, we got off the wrong foot last time. I'm part of the retrieval service, so hook me up, please. Good sir.
Hook you up.
Uh,
Okay, I don't normally do those kind of services, but okay. He starts fishing around like he's looking for, and he's looking for something, and he goes, "What can I do for you?"
I see your butt. Never mind. Healing potions, please.
Healing potions. Let's see, healing potions. One be 75 gold pieces.
75 gold pieces. That's your discounted rate for the retrieval service.
75 gold pieces.
He
Normally
snorts
don't
a
need
little
much
while,
more.
and he'll start counting out 75 gold pieces. Looking to someone next to him, make sure he counts it right.
Gun, do you need a hand?
Sure. I think I can get close. But yeah, I'll buy one.
Okay. Put in one common healing. That's 2d4 plus 2 damage or regen.
Okay. All right. I don't do much chit chat with him because I still
Okay.
think he's ripping me off.
He says, "Can I help anybody else?" And then he looks right back and goes, "What can I do for you?"
The run's done. He's like walking out unless someone else wants something.
Yeah. Quorum's gonna avoid that shop.
Okay.
Let's go liberate this castle.
Yeah,
All
let's
right.
go check it out.
Before we go, I just pick up the items that I purchased last time.
Okay. Yes, that would definitely be gotten done sometime during all the stuff you were doing. All right. So, the following morning, you head out of the city. You go out through the inland gate, which is on the southern part of the city. You go out through the inland gate, and you go out through some of the outlying buildings, and you follow the main road, and you got directions that Arden's giving you. And it takes you, and you've about a couple hours, 2 or 3 hours to get there. As you approach, and I want to give you the map so you can see, but as you approach the castle from a distance, and you can see, like I said, it's on a small knoll, raised up a little bit. There's a little bit of water to the left-hand side of it, but not immediately, but to the left-hand side, just off to the left. There's a creek running there. The castle itself is a very small-like structure. It has 4 towers. It's square. There's 1 tower in each corner. In the very beginning, at the very front of the castle, the rockway or roadway leads up a ramp or an incline to the main gate, and there's a main door there. The door, of course, is shut. The castle itself is made of the local stone. It's kind of a darkish gray black stone. It's what's common throughout in some of the construction, even in Gumtar Stronghold. You can see when it's not plastered over and painted. As you can see, it's a grayish black stone. And it's very strongly built. This castle obviously has been vacant for a while. It's obviously been vacant for a while. Sorry?
I was talking to the party. Dash, do you have the key?
I think so. I do have the key. Is there, before we go that route, is there any windows or anything we want to try to sneak in instead?
Okay. There are a number of windows that you can see, but all the windows are very high up on the wall. Like, if the ground was even to where like the gate entrance is at, they're like 10 foot up above that, and they're very narrow. They're more like slits, but they're wider than they're wider than they are tall. Sorry, my throat got dry.
But arrow slits, right?
They're not arrow slits. They're just wider than they are tall, and they're probably only about 1.5 feet, 2 foot tall.
And you don't
Yeah,
see any kind
sounds like a tight fit.
You don't see any kind of motion or movement behind those opening.
No, not that you can see from the angles that you're at, even as you approach it if you're watching.
Okay. Right, so these front gates are open or they're closed?
They're closed.
Were we told they would be open?
Yeah, that's a grunt.
Well, you were told they were open the last time that the castle was visited by the guy's servant.
Gotcha.
Grun will ask if anyone seen any tracks as they were approaching the entrance here.
Anybody that wants to answer, give me a survival check or an investigation check so I know whether you did or see anything or not. Damn, Nalia.
Yeah, she found everything.
Yeah.
So you were on a road, but the castle hasn't been occupied formally for a while. You do, however, see a number of tracks leading in and out of the castle. The tracks seem to be a mix of both human and, based on Nalia's role and Coram's role, goblin.
Interesting.
Maybe we found some of Jim's.
All right.
How recent are these tracks looking?
Some of them are very old, but some of them are as recent as probably yesterday.
Can we differentiate between the two? Like the type of monsters that are fresh?
Oh, yes, you can. The human tracks seem to be the most recent going in and out, but the goblin tracks are equally recent. Just some are, the goblins may have come and gone like 2 or 3 days ago, and as opposed to the human tracks, which might be a day old.
Got it. Cool. Thanks.
All right, so the question is, are they working together? Or are they opposing forces? Either way, we got a fight coming up. Are you guys?
Well,
Ryan, it's super hard to hear you. Don't know why, man. I got the volume cranked up. Jason's loud as shit, but you're like super soft.
Is that any better there?
it is for me.
All right, so I was asking if there's definitely going to be a fight coming up, so how do we want to do this? Run in, guns blazing, or we want to sneak in first?
Well, it's kind of hard to sneak in through the front door.
Well, it is for
Huh?
me.
We could try to find another way in.
I mean, I could maybe lift someone up to that some of these windows, but they're a bit small.
Well, if they're roughly 2 feet tall and they're wider than they are tall, we could probably get maybe 2 of us smaller people in to do a quick scout, but I don't see Grunner. You make it in, Bertra.
Well, we could go in from the front as a sort of distraction, and then you can circle around behind.
Well, that idea appeals to parts of me. I think that if we stick together, our chances of survival are better.
You guys want to do a quick scout around the castle? Be a little stealthy. Have 2 of us do a quick walk, see if there's anything immediately around. They probably spotted us by now if they have anyone watching. We are just sitting in front of the gate.
That is true. I feel like it'd be worth it to at least check.
Which way did you go, Coram? Left or right?
I'm going to stick with Dash. So either right or left. Left.
Okay. So you and Dash creep off to the left around the castle, and you can move around the castle if you want and take a look at the map. As you go down, now like I said, there's windows here, but these are really, really high. And as you go around to the towers raise up, and you can tell there's a parapet up there, for the guards to actually stand on. And as you come around to the sides of the castle, the windows are more prominent and more easy to see than they are on, say, the front portion of the castle where the main gate is at. Those windows appear to have glass in them, at least from the angles, because they're a little bit bigger that you can see, but they appear to be glassed in windows. And it goes like that all around the back. Now, the back side of the map has the same kind of windows going around it. Again, they're about 2.5 foot, and about the same. They're a little bit squatter than they are tall. Sorry, having hard time talking all of a sudden. I'll let you come back around and report your findings to the group and decide what you're going to do.
Does Corum see anything in the windows?
Give me a perception check. I mean, you might physically see something, but
Yeah, I was about to ask the same thing.
You see light in some of the rooms. There's light. Some rooms have light in them, and you see shadows moving, but it's kind of hard to actually physically see, even though you can see here on the map because of the way I set the map up. So you can tell that the building's occupied at some level.
Got it.
Do these windows on either side look big enough that we could squeeze Bertra in?
Bertra, no. Bertra and Grona both have a hard time going through this. Now, the humans, with the exception of Grun, because he's a little bit bigger than human, but you'd have to bust the glass to get in. They don't know how they open, so it would be noisy.
Well, two options. We can either try to talk our way in, just literally have somebody knock on the door and say, hey, we're looking to join up. We've heard there's bandits in the area. Or we can try to sneak in the windows along the side. It doesn't look like we're getting in exactly quietly, unless somebody has a sneaky way to break a window.
I have to say, I do look like the part for banditry.
Let's do it. We lost Brian.
He is changing his headsets. But I see we've actually completely lost. No, he's still in roll 20.
Were you having a hard time hearing him too?
He was a little lower than normal. I have him cranked up too.
Yeah.
I thought maybe it was just me because I'd changed some of the recording stuff on my end.
All right, how about now?
Oh, you're great now.
Way better.
All right, sweet. I'm back in action. That's what I miss.
We scouted around the tower. We know that this place is occupied. It doesn't appear as though you and Bertra can fit through any other means besides this front door. So let's fucking do it.
Me and Bertra? What are you saying?
Y'all are a bit bigger than most folk. Air quotes.
Than you. Okay, front door it is.
So then the only question is, do we want to just try to talk our way in and be like, hey, we're here to be bandits, and then see how things play out, or do we want to find a way to try to sneak this in?
I'm thinking, we could, because, she's probably like a pretty druid, and like Bertra maybe even like, hey, by the way, you need some extra muscle, plus,
Careful there now, yeah.
We're gonna sell somebody?
No, we're not going to actually sell anybody. We're going to use this as a ruse in order to get inside and get in their good graces, see what's going on, and then Grunt, you can do your thing like you did in the troll lair.
I can do my thing. But I'm not going to volunteer to sell somebody.
No, I got you.
Nalia, Bertrand, you guys okay with this? Hell, why don't we sell Quorum?
You guys could sell me. I just seem like a seller. Say it again, Claire.
I think they could use a bard.
All right, so yeah, you know what? I'm not opposed to that. Sell me.
We're selling you as a slave? We're selling you as a mercenary? What are we selling you as?
Well, that's just it. If you can play it off like you're selling something, then go for it. If you want me to sell something, I think I can do a pretty good job at it.
How about we just work on selling our arms? I mean, we look like a fairly capable group. If you want to talk your way in as our leader and just be like, hey, we're looking to profit on anything else that's going on in the area. We heard there's some bandits holed up here, seeing if you guys need some extra muscle.
I like it. And then we can sell Claire, right?
Not Claire. There's no Claire here.
No, yeah. All right, let's do it.
On that note, Dash will step to the back and try to be a little inconspicuous. Not actually flat out hide, but not draw attention.
Okay, so tell me what you're doing.
All right, we're trying to get some attention at the front door. You know, if there's some of those iron rings, you kind of like gung, 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 etc.
Okay.
So we are knocking on the front door of a known bandit house. I like where this is going.
As a DM, you couldn't write this stuff, could you, Ryan?
No.
Okay, so thump, thump, thump. You know, because there's actually his knockers there to knock on the door, and the door swings open slightly, and a guy sticks his head out and goes, "Yes. How may we help you?"
I believe we are exactly what you need, sir. Extra hired hands here to defend this keep and raid these folks around this area.
Oh my god. He looks a little bit confused at first. He goes, "Wait a minute. You're wanting to join us?"
Hell yeah, we want to join you. Let us in. Come on, where's the meat?
Again, he looks a bit confused. He goes, and then he looks back over his shoulder like someone was saying, "Is, are we having meat for dinner? This guy wants to have dinner with us." And you hear another voice from the other side, but you can't make it out. It's too mumbled and muffled. And he goes, but the only thing you do hear is, "Get rid of him." And the guy turns back to him and goes, "We're not hiring. Go away." And he shuts the door.
Oh, well, let's go back to the sword chest plate and see if we drop.
And then we fake walk away.
Don't we have a key?
We do, but we might still have to walk away a little so that they're not watching.
We're dragging our vacuum sails like behind us slowly down the path.
As we're walking, Grun will lean over to Quorum and says, "You know, I don't eat meat."
It was deception.
Oh, sorry. Well, I still don't eat meat. So we are walking away.
Let's wait until dark and then go let ourselves in with the key and kill everybody in there.
Oh, yeah, that might work better. I liked your story, though.
You never know, man. Those trolls are pretty friendly.
All right, so we're walking.
Okay, there is a stand of the trees not too far from the main entrance to the keep where you can, or the castle, where you can kind of tuck yourself out of the way.
That's the idea. Just nip and tuck. Get kind of like out of sight, out of mind.
Grunt is walking backwards as they're walking, keeping his eye on the gate.
And nothing comes out of the gate, and you don't see anybody obviously watching. Apparently, Dash is hidden in the tree. We didn't see that until just now.
Dash is already gone.
All right, so we get back to the tree line, I guess, and all right, so we're gonna wait for night and go open the front door. Is that what we're doing?
Yeah, man. Sounds like a plan.
Okay. Didn't someone here have like some like a hook and a chain or something to climb stuff? I thought
I
someone
do
had
have a
one of
hook
those.
and rope.
So I'm not a sneak type, but wouldn't that be a little bit better than going right through the front door? Just saying.
I lied. I
No.
do not have a grappling hook, but I do have rope. I could try to climb the side of the building and make my way up. Might make a little noise.
Well, I think going through the front door might make a little noise too, and that
Well,
might be guarded.
if we're trying to get in, I may have a way for at least myself to get in pretty stealthily. I've never done it before though, so I don't know how well it would work.
Well, let's hear it. It's got to be better than going through the front door.
Well, if I shape myself into, say, a bird, I could fly up into a window or onto the roof and at least take a look.
Yeah, that's true. Could scope out a good spot for us to possibly scale the side.
So if I give you my rope and you wild or shape yourself into whatever and get to the top of the roof, could you just tie off the rope for us?
Possibly. I don't know if I'm skilled enough to do that though.
I think I might have a solution. If this is the path that we want to pursue, and we're interested in other options besides the front door, which is my first choice. I'm not going to lie, front door. I think I could help out here as well.
Well, okay, let's hear your idea. Because I got a shovel.
Well, it'd be easier if I showed you my idea.
Okay. Whatever. Holy shit! What the hell is that?
His arms burst into wings of fire, and he takes flight, flying around above your head. A rope still in a backpack on his back.
Is the rope on fire?
Now he does take flight, but as he takes flight, he kind of wobbles a bit in the air.
I guess we're not waiting to say yes to his idea. And it's nighttime, and he's on fire in the sky. Yeah, they won't notice that at all.
That's exactly why I was thinking the front door.
So just so I'm clear, you cast that, right? You didn't tell us about that. You cast it.
Yeah, it's a ritual.
Oh, shit. Oh, okay. All right, so Grun will kind of distance himself from the big fire in the sky. Jeez. All right, so what are we doing here?
Well, Corin will come down, end the spell effect, and let them know, hey, this is doable. If this is what you guys really want to do, I'd be happy to fly up there, and I could toss a rope down. We could see what's on the roof, et cetera, et cetera.
Grun will look to the rest of the party and say, I'm not so sure being a bright ball of flame in the sky is the best way to be unnoticed. No offense, Corum. That was a very, very cool trick. I'm more inclined to Nalia's approach. Seeing a bird in the sky as opposed to a guy with fire wings is a little bit less conspicuous. Or we could always dig, and he holds up his shovel.
I'm against plan dig. I feel like that's a lot of effort.
All right.
How about
What do
this?
you guys say?
We get somebody to scout up top real quick, see if there's actually any way in from the top, or if it's just a flat roof or pitched roof, so it's not going to help us. And then climb up.
You could also check on the number of guards by the gate.
I'm all for scouting action. So, are we in agreement? Nalia's going to go up, or do we want the fire boy to go fly up there?
Let's let Nalia do it.
Nalia.
All right, Nalia, you up for this?
Try.
All right.
Out
So-
of character, actually, I have a question for Jason.
Sure.
So I know that currently at this level, I am not skilled enough to have a flying speed with wild shape, but I can shape into a spider. Would that be able to get me up a wall?
Yes, you
Yeah.
can use a spider to climb the wall.
Fantastic. I'm gonna go ahead and try that then.
Okay, so where are you going up at? Just like ping it on the map so I can see where you're going.
All right. Is there any windows just right around the front entrance?
Not immediately near the front entrance. There's a couple of small ones toward the well, they're not actually on the map because I forgot to put them on the map. There's actually a set of windows along that set of wall there, and along this set of walls over here.
Quorum's gonna
The
tell
ones that went around
Nalia,
that. Go ahead.
or on the west side might be a good place.
Okay, sure.
I don't know if I'm not zoomed out enough. I didn't see you ping anywhere.
Yeah, I didn't either.
That because I'm on the stupid light layer.
Okay, I see it.
So is this like a 4-hour trip since she's a spider?
It does take her a while to get up there and around, or as she walks around to it. Now, do you want the west wall? Let me zoom out enough so I can see the map so you can ping where you went up at, please. All right. Now you go up are you going up the tower or the flat face of the?
Let me reveal more of the map here so I can see what I'm working with.
Okay.
Okay, I see. So probably right around here.
Ping it again so I make sure I see it.
Holy shit.
I don't know if I'm doing this properly.
Okay. So in that section of flat wall just past the tower, right?
Yeah, sorry.
Okay. So you climb up that wall there as in your little spider form. And as you come up through the wall there and you come to the windows are kind of caked and grimy and dirty, but enough you can see through. The room revealed beyond looks to be a kitchen, maybe. It's got a bunch of tables and shelves and like prep space in it. There doesn't appear to be anybody in it. It appears to be empty, but it appears to be something like maybe food prep or kitchen or something like that.
Okay. I'm going to just kind of take a look around and see what I can find. Maybe not in this room, but see if I can find anything in another room.
Okay, when you go to the next room to the north, it appears to be some kind of like maybe a library. It's got a bunch of shelves in it. Oh no, I'm sorry. This one's got a bunch of racks in it. It looks like it might be an armory. And then the next one past that to the north appears to be the library. It, however, the library, give me, well, you would see because you're looking in the window. There is a group of goblins in the library, sleeping on the carpet, or well, sacked out on the carpet, resting. You can't tell if they're sleeping or not.
How many of them am I seeing?
6.
Alrighty. And they're all asleep?
Well, they're sacked out on the carpet, stretched out on the carpet. They appear to be asleep, but they could be awake and talking. You just can't tell from your distance.
Alrighty. And from here, is there anywhere else that I can kind of go without going too far?
You could continue to go north and look in the other rooms. You're about halfway up, halfway down the length of the castle at this point. You have yet to check out above the room to see what the roof conditions are. I know that's one of the things the party asked about. And you haven't checked the tower either.
Okay, I'm gonna head towards the tower then.
Okay, the one closest to the party?
Yeah,
From your point of view?
to the south.
Okay.
I mean.
So you work your way back down through there, and then you come up the tower. The tower itself is it's a flat roof tower with a parapet, with stands, places where the archers could look out the crenellation, and then there's a set of stairs going down. It is empty.
The top is empty?
Yes.
Okay, and how tall up is it?
It's about 20 from the ground. It's about 20 foot, 20, 30 foot. And by the way, because you're high enough up on the tower, you can see when you look out. The rest of the castle roof is peaked or slanted, and then there appears to be an open area in the middle of the castle.
Like a courtyard almost?
Yep.
All right, got it. I'm gonna just go ahead and from the top of the tower, just head straight back down to the ground.
So from the rest of the party's point of view, Naya's gone about an hour and a half before she gets back to you guys. It's well past dark back in, and she drops her shapeshift and rejoins you guys in the cover of the trees. And I'll let her tell you and share with you what she found.
Okay, so when I entered into like a kitchen area, and to the north of that was a small library with about 6 goblins. I didn't see any humans when I was traversing, looking in the inside, but I did see a few goblins. And then I went into the tower to kind of see if we can find another entrance, and the top of the towers are all flat, and the middle of the castle is pretty peaked and slanted, so it wouldn't be easy to climb up there. But there is a courtyard in the center, although I don't know how easy it would be to be able to traverse our way over there. Climbing wise, our best bet is either one of the towers or into a window.
How many stories is this thing?
It's only one story.
Okay, it's one story. So the window that she saw everybody through is like just ground height.
Well, no. The windows are about 10, 15 foot up above the ground. They're high up on. They're more like a shoot. The windows above the doors.
Okay.
Something that lets sunlight in only.
Yeah.
But they're big enough for all of us, most of us, to fit in.
Bercher would not be able to fit through one. You might, but it'd be a really tight squeeze with your armor on, Grun.
Okay, so that kind of narrows it down a little bit if we want Bercher to be with us.
It's fine. I'll try and sneak through the front.
Grun stifles a laugh. All right, fellas. What do we want to do here? Did Nalia see that there was more access or easier way to get in if we take one of the towers in?
She did see a set of stairs going down from the towers, leading into the castle itself.
So the two options are either everyone go in through the front gate, or you have a handful of people go through the tower down towards the front gate, make sure no one's right there, and let everyone else in.
We could also at least maybe try our luck at sneaking in that library and taking out a few of those while they're asleep, but not all of us can go in there, obviously, at the same time. But
Well, just a quick question. How tall are the trees around here?
The trees aren't tall enough to reach the top of the castle. Actually, the closer you get to the castle, the shorter the trees are. At some point, they were actually trimmed back and to prevent that.
I was just wondering if there was a tree that was tall enough to chop down and then drag up to the castle.
Well, yeah, you could probably find one. I mean, there are trees that you could do that. I mean, it might be all tall enough to get you all the way to the top of the castle, but yeah, you could probably find a tree that would go at least halfway or more up the side.
Like a large wooden hollow bunny.
That's up to you all.
Depends on your carpentry skill.
Grun's going to share another potential idea that he saw during his time in the soldiery. It says basically, what if we sneak up right to the edge of the gates up here at the front, and then somebody use their magic stuff or whatever, maybe we don't need magic, and set a fire out in this forest to see if we can draw them out of the gates and then ambush them as they come out. Probably won't be all of them, but maybe some of them. Again, just another idea.
The forest is a bit too far away.
How far are we from the main road?
This side road's probably about a mile
Oh shit!
till it meets
Okay.
back up with the main road.
All right, well, never mind that. I didn't realize we were that far away from the the castle gates.
Yeah, you're.
All right, guys, so let's take a vote. What are we doing? We going through the front door? Or are we going to take the tower? That's our two options, right?
So, would maybe Coram could use the fact that he's a fireball in the sky to the party's advantage to distract, based on what Grun was saying earlier. Just thinking, and then the party could go in through the front door. The fireball disappears around the northwest corner, and then circles back to the.
Yeah, this is all assuming they actually come out the gate, which they may not.
Well, if he's distracting him, like above the courtyard that Nalia was mentioning, their eyes would be at least that way. We could unlock this door. I could poke my head in, see if it gets taken off, and then lead everyone in, then in, shut the door.
It's not a bad idea, unless Corm's worried about getting riddled with a bunch of arrows.
That also wakes up the entire castle.
Good point.
Guys, I still think it's dark now. Front door.
That guy did seem pretty lazy.
Probably not that many.
They don't have any meat. If we go hunt some meat right now, I bet we can get in this time.
Oh, jeez. All right, guys, we got to vote. We got to do something. So, what options are we considering now? I'm okay with the distraction thing in the middle of the courtyard. I'm okay with taking the tower. I'm okay if we really want to go in through the front door, we can do that one as well. I'm okay with all three of those. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo.
Front door.
Front door.
As much as I hate splitting the party, I think tower is probably the best thing. Have a couple of us go in through the tower, check what's around the front door to see if there's any guards there, and then open it, or leave you guys the key and just signal when it's safe.
I like that. I'd
Yeah, me
much rather
too.
find out what we're fighting before we just go in the front door. That's just me.
All right, Corum and Dash.
Do we want to see if Nalia can make it in there with us, and then have Lightning, Bertra, and
I
Grunge
like
stay
that
at
idea.
the forest?
I like that idea.
Nalia, you pretty sneaky, or moderately sneaky?
Let's see. Oh yeah, totally. I'm sneaky enough, I think. I hope.
Okay.
How long does her
so
spider form last?
Well, she would have
Well,
had to have dropped it to talk to you. So.
Oh, that's right. Damn it.
yeah, I do technically have another one, but that would be my last time I can use wild shape until I rest.
before you do that,
Lucky for you, it's dark outside. Gonna need to sleep soon.
I do have these claws, so I could probably try to scale the wall, see if I might be able to sneak my way in. I do have a climb speed,
Okay.
and I'll go up
So it
the rope.
sounds
And see
like
if I can
Dash is
hide
going to
behind.
climb and drop a rope.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Okay. So which tower are we climbing? And then, of course, I need a climb check or dex check or athletics, whichever is better.
I will go to this tower over here.
Okay.
You said acrobatics or athletics?
Yep. Whichever is better for you.
Oh, acrobatics for days.
That's what I figured.
Can I just quickly grab the key from whoever has it?
Yeah.
Yes,
fine.
I'll throw you the key.
Okay. With that, you doesn't take you long at all. You power your way to the top. I'm going to move your token. You're on the top there, not actually in the castle yet. You're up on the top floor. Now, I need you to give me a dex check. No, an intelligence check to tie off the rope.
Could I go with a sleight of hand?
Yes, I'll take that.
Mm.
Oh, okay. So you tie the rope off. You're pretty sure it's tight. You give it a good jerk. It seems to be good. You drop it down the others. Who's climbing up here? Nalia and
Corum will.
Corum first. Corum, give me a acrobatics check at disadvantage. Okay.
Oh, jeez.
So nothing really matters for Corum. Corum just kind of skimmies up there, up the wall. Just as you reach the top, Corum, and get your leg over the edge, you see the knot come loose, and because you got the rope in your hand and your other hand on the thing, so you don't fall, but you see the knot come loose.
What the hell were you trying to do, man? You got to scare this thing better, I whisper.
Sorry, I tried to watch down this hall right away. My bad. I figured you could handle
Okay, you retie it now. I need an acrobatics or a athletics check from Nalia, or dex check if you don't have any of those at now.
Oh no.
Oh, so halfway up, you lose your grip on the rope and slide back down about 4 foot, and you now have nasty rope burn on your hand.
Ow.
Give me another check to see if you can make it the rest of the way up. Okay, there you go.
That's better.
So you make it up to the top with the rest of them. Now, the map doesn't have a layer, but you're on the top layer looking down, so you really don't see that hallway just yet as you come down. But if you come down into the tunnel, and the tower, this is what you'll see. Oh, yeah, I do need stealth checks from all of you, so I know how you're doing there.
I'm pretty stealthy.
So as you descend into the tower, who's in the lead? Dash?
Yeah, I'll take lead.
Okay. And who's next?
Corum will be next.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll
So it's
definitely let
Dash,
you take the lead.
Dash, Corum, and then now. Okay. Just so I know how you guys come into the room there. As you come down the stairs, this tower itself is empty. As you can see, it opens up and there's a hallway that leads into it. that goes off kind of to the northwest.
Okay, I'm gonna start moving forward and
Okay.
So these stairs aren't the stairs down to the first floor and front door.
No,
oh, they're not?
those are the stairs that led down into the tower that you're seeing.
Gotcha.
Oh. So we're at least one floor up from the main level?
No, you're on the main level.
Oh, okay.
That's just where the stairs start on the main level going up.
I hold out my hand to slow everyone down.
Okay. You see a goblin in the hallway walking toward you.
Okay, I start.
He has not
signaling
seen
everyone.
you yet, though.
I signal everyone to back up a little.
Okay.
I'm gonna start moving backwards a little.
All right.
I'm gonna get my bow out very silently.
And I'm gonna just wait to see if it keeps moving this way. I'll
He continues to approach toward the hall, toward your direction, and then as he nears that corner, he makes to start going up, to the passageway to the north.
okay. I'll give it another second, and I'll creep forward and see if he keeps moving.
He continues on past you, moving north.
Okay. I'll look back at everyone else, make sure to do a sign to whisper, and I will sneak off to the right. Or a little bit further out in the tunnel to see what I can see.
Okay. As you come out into the passageway, you see him going to the north, obviously. Still because your stealth check, you're still really good. And then you can see the passageway to the west toward the main gate is open and clear.
Okay, I will slowly make my way towards the main gate.
Okay. As you approach or come to the main entrance there, it widens up, and just as wide area, a goblin walks out of the passage coming from the over here and starts screaming in goblin.
Okay, I shoot him.
Okay, give me the shot.
Can I see this guy too?
Yeah, you can see him.
Can
You should be able to see
can
him on
we
the map.
can we hear this?
On the outside, you hear somebody yelling or something yelling, but it's
Oh shit! That was a nice one.
Dang.
okay. So you hear well, here's actually what you guys hear. You hear something start to yell or make a noise, and then it gets quiet. On your all's point of view, what happens is Dash pops out a short bow, releases an arrow real quick. The arrow goes wide, clatters against the side of the wall, and then Corum, who stands up right behind Dash, or is right behind Dash with his bow, lets go, hits the guy right in the throat, and he just falls to the ground dead.
Well, they probably know us now.
In the future, you got advantage too, Dash.
Oh, well, no, because he saw me. I wouldn't have advantage.
Yeah.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, he actually. Now hold on, I gotta make a check here. Okay. I made my check. I just need to know how the others in the building respond. Now, there is a clicking sound, and another goblin steps out of the doorway, and you hear another click from the other side, but you can't see anybody there, Dash. I need the three inside to go ahead and roll initiative real quick.
Well, there's my nat 20.
So Jason, I don't know if you're able to see the chat on the side. Bertrand and I are just kind of contemplating whether or not we want to react to that screaming and then nothing. Do you want us
Right.
to roll something for that, or that's going to be up to us to decide?
I'll leave it up to you all to decide because it might become very painfully obvious in a second what's happening. So I'll let you all decide what you're going to do.
Rock, paper, scissors, Bertrand?
So the group outside, you hear a deep voice. The rest of you inside hear it as well. What's going on, Shorty? And then Dash, you see a bandit. Oops. Step into view. I did not mean to move that.
The goblin.
Yeah, he was still connected where I rolled his initiative. You see a bandit step into view. He spots you and draws his scimitar. Dash, you're up.
Well, I guess I will step to the side and take a shot at this goblin. See if I can take him out.
Okay. Nicely done. Your shot slams into the goblin at the perfect joint in the side of his crappy leather armor. And he crumples to the ground.
Is that the goblin to the north?
No, that goblin has just turned around. I didn't even roll his initiative. I actually kind of forgot he was there.
He's not part of the game. And then
Alright, Jason.
I'll use the last of my movement to start moving towards where the goblin fell, so I can try to get to the door to let them know to come in.
So out of
Okay.
character, are we still like a mile away from the castle?
No, no,
hope not.
I assumed you all crept up closer to the castle.
Okay, good. We're here! Battle's over. Alright, so we're heading in. So however you want to play that, Jason.
Okay, it'll take you one round to get the door unlocked and get in.
Okay.
Okay.
So
So
in that
at the
case-
start of round 2, I'll have you guys roll initiative to add yourself to initiative.
Okay.
So actually, what I would like to do, if I can. Actually, no. I will.
You can't. I was just getting back to you.
I guess I'll just. Yeah, I guess I'll just wait.
Okay. Okay, that goblin's dead. So that brings it to Corum then.
So am I still stealthy compared to the goblin to the north that I can see?
Yes.
I'm going to take a shot at him, feeling pretty lucky.
Okay. Oh, nice
Told
shot.
you I was feeling lucky.
That's an awful lot of crits. See a bunch of ones coming in your future.
That goblin just drops.
Shit. What do I want to do? I think that's it for right now.
Okay.
I'm gonna put away my bow and I'm gonna creep a little bit closer to Dash along the
Okay.
wall.
That's fine. Go ahead and move to where you're going to stop at.
Oh shit! All right there.
And now, what are you doing?
Okay. First thing I'm gonna do is move because the goblin that was in front of me is dead now.
Yep.
Okay, let me think. And I'm actually just gonna cast Produce Flame, but I'm just gonna keep it in my hand and wait.
Okay. Okay, I need the group outside to roll initiative for me. Let me open the door.
Great. I'm out of breath.
Thanks for taking that crit miss for me, Brian. I was due one.
I'm going to resort this order. Actually, it's going to do it by hand.
So is lightning in this fight or not?
Lightning is going to be. She's still outside the door, kind of watching the back for you for now.
Okay.
I'll put her in the fight. I don't think you're going to need her for it. So,
Thanks for the vote of confidence.
well, I'm being realistic here. Okay, the poor bandit who's come out the door. Watched the goblin get shot across from him. He pulled his scimitar out to come around to deal with Set. All of a sudden, Quorum comes around the corner. He makes a swing at. Does that hit you, Quorum?
Yep, 17.
And so he slashes a weak slash into your chest plate as he reacts to it, and his eyes kind of get up, and he starts yelling for help.
Oh shit.
And that brings it to Dash.
Is he one space up, so in melee with Corin?
Yeah, he is. I just didn't move.
Okay, so does that mean I have sneak attack against
There
him?
we go. Well, he's engaged with Quorum, so yeah, you would be able to just pull a sneak on him.
Okay. Step forward and just jab him in the face with my rapier.
Okay, let me see it.
Really?
For some reason, as you lunge forward at him, it's at the same time he swings in on Quorum because he got a scimitar and he's kind of got that roundhouse swing to it. Your rapier goes just past his ear, and it misses him. And that brings it around to Quorum.
Before that, I will use my bonus action to disengage and take a step
Okay.
back just in case.
That's fine. Go ahead and move. Quorum, what are you doing? This guy just slashed at you, and you just watched Dash miss him.
Quorum's gonna roll like 5 feet. As Dash steps back, it's almost like they've practiced this. He's gonna roll staying within like the target's threat range, but pull out his rapier as he does so.
Okay. So
And
when
then
you
he's
drop,
going to attack.
okay.
For
You
18 damage.
As you roll in there and you jab into him, you jab it right into the soft spot underneath his arm as he finishes that swing in on you. As he starts to recover back is when you roll and you run it right underneath his armpit into his chest, and he just heaves and then falls to the ground. And that's where we're going to stop for the night.
Alrighty.
Good, just like we planned it.
Let me stop the recording real quick.